Hello. Assalamualaikum, guys. Welcome back to my channel. On the last episode, we found out that Colton's niece has died on a terrible fire. Maybe there is a link between this case and that incident. We don't know yet. Let's continue the story.
Where was I? Well, since when did I become a suspect?
Well, I just think it's better to get this all down on paper while you're here. At this point, I feel like anybody could be a suspect. Might as well chase down all possible leads.
I suppose you're right. I'll remind you, however, that I said I never met these kids. I wanted to here to give my deposition and I'm not a suspect. But I'll entertain your question. Since I'm under oath, and I honor my duties as a law enforcement professional. Last night I was at home, in bed after a long day.
Alone, right? You're not married, correct? Realized all this time we've been on the force together, I don't know much about your home life. You know, I've got 2 kids, and I'm married. You never wanted that? Settle down, I guess?
I was married once, briefly. But no, I suppose I never really found the right woman. I was too focused on my work. The hours here just don't allow for much of a social life. I like to keep a routine. There aren't many eligible women here I like in town anyway. And to answer your question, of course, I was alone.
Oh, Colton got no alibi.
So we just got the email records and phone records from your house and theirs. Your alibi checks out. Looks like you did email your brother the night of the crime.
Good work.
Although that can be faked, but I'll cross you off the list here. If my pen works.
Not sure what you're crossing off since the list is digital, but here, use mine.
God, what the hell was that? Got shocked.
You okay there?
Well, it felt a little funny. Almost like electric shock.
Weird.
I just hope it's safe in here with all the faulty wiring and whatnot. It went through the table.
Got couple of messages here. Just pause the video if you want to read it all.
Well, I guess the follow-up that we're trained to ask is, can anybody corroborate that you were alone last night?
If you're implying that I might be lying about being home, then I suppose you could go to the phone company and triangulate my cell phone signal that night. I was home. Don't think anyone saw me come home, and I didn't talk to anyone, so no.
No, it's okay. Just going down the list of things I need to cross off.
Oh, I also sent an email to my brother in Connecticut right before I went to bed from my house.
When was that?
11 or 12.
Okay, well, we will have to double check on that, and we will get those phone records so that we can cross you off the list of potential suspects.
Sure.
What was the long day you had?
I just had a lot of errands to run around town.
Patrol stuff?
Yeah, patrol stuff.
We don't have you listed as responding to any calls. Anything noteworthy happen? Not that we get many, but did anything noteworthy happen?
Not really, no.
Just busy?
Yeah.
Let's work on Hatter. Yes, we got a couple news videos.
At that point, pulled out my gun, called out once again, identified myself as an officer of the law, and that backup was en route. I called for backup on my radio at that point, but now we know it didn't go through. The house was dead. It was very quiet, almost peaceful. It was pretty eerie. First time I'd ever seen anything like that. I don't know what I expected, but it was odd how quiet it was. I froze. Everything was frozen in time in that room, it seemed. Wasn't expecting the silence. Bizarrely, there were white sheets over everything. The kids must have placed them there. All the furniture, the ground, everything. The students were located in various positions, or parts of them. It was like a bomb went off. Looking at the bodies, I had difficulty even processing what I was looking at. It was a mess. They've now been identified as all 4 of the deceased victims. DOA was reported by paramedics. The names are confirmed as Emily Thomas, Brian Watson, Gregory Sims, and Alana Morgan, all students from the University of Western Washington. When I say I couldn't tell what I was looking at the time, I mean I couldn't tell if it was 2 victims, 1, or what. It was an absolute mess. They'd offer counselors for us due to the severity of the scene and the victims' injuries, and I'm considering it. I could make out huge, wide gashes were present too from what I assume was 1 or multiple cutting instruments. Pieces everywhere. Like I said, they seemed more like bomb victims, almost fake, or like art somehow. I don't really know how else to say it, but what was left was just unreal. It didn't look real. I've never seen anything like it in all my years on the force. Then in the corner of the room, one of these shapes, bodies, moved just a little. I took 2 steps towards it, them, and then it screamed. She screamed. But the fear got in me, that noise, piercing that silence in the room. So I realized we had a survivor and rushed over to the only living victim, Heather Gardner.
It must be a horrible scene to watch. Evidence? Oh, another news.
New tonight, shocking news coming out of Port Landsend. The bodies of 4 deceased Western Washington students have been found in a house on the town's east side, with reports of a single survivor being rushed to St. Michael's Hospital this morning. Authorities aren't releasing any details on what may have caused the deaths in this otherwise sleepy vacation community. Anonymous sources described it as one of the most horrific crime scenes they've ever come across. All we know about the survivor is that she's a female in her 20s, in critical condition, with her wounds being listed as egregious by local paramedics. More on this story as it develops.
When can we meet this survivor? There's a lot question for you.
I had no idea if there was still an active threat in the area, so I tried to provide support as best I could, not really knowing where all the injuries had occurred on Heather's body. I was pretty useless just telling her to stay calm while radioing for help. Again on my uniform, but there was interference. I felt like I was being watched somehow too, and given the gravity of the scene, felt like I needed support. So I quickly exited the house, back down the hallway, out the front door, and called for more emergency responders from my patrol car. Once backup arrived, Terry came and we went through the house, cleared it room by room, not finding any other victims. The photos taken at the scene all confirmed what I described. We had 4 dead who we couldn't identify until next of kin were contacted. All we knew right away was they were likely young. 3 were basically macerated, and I don't think there's official confirmation yet. Too soon. The coroner's still working on it, although I know he's having trouble. After clearing the house, paramedics arrived, went inside. We then established identities from the victims belonging in the house. I now know that the victim I found alive was Heather Gardner. As mentioned, she was alive, barely breathing on her side, and we got a partial heartbeat when we found her. She had a lot of cuts and other wounds, and we immediately rushed her to St. Michael's Hospital in critical condition by the EMTs. She must have been a fighter, though. We pulled the skin from under her nails, and she had bruising on her arms and other defensive wounds. Maybe she'd fought back in the living room when she confronted the attacker, Rick. She was in bad shape. I honestly can't believe she's alive. Must have been quite the attack. Heather was in critical condition when she arrived. I honestly didn't think she was going to survive when I found her.
Her hair was singed slightly too. These damn power surges. Ever since lightning storms we've been having all this month. I'll talk to maintenance.
The place is falling apart.
Time to hit up city council for some cash.
Because that will work, right?
Power out, eh? Next keyword, house.
You didn't wait for more backup? More cavalry? Just Terry was enough?
At that point, Terry and I decided to check the rest of the house, just in case anyone else was in the house, injured, or even if we could still catch the person, or persons, who did this. We were careful. We went in slowly and cleared each room, guns drawn. The front room was really the place besides the living room that had the signs that a struggle had occurred. There's a broken lamp on the floor, still on, and there was a chair on its side, but that was it. To me, it indicated someone was in the room, got surprised, possibly fought back, and then left quickly. So the ground floor was clear, apart from the living room, obviously. At that point, we proceeded upstairs. Got to the first room to the right of the stairs, a small guest room. The door was slightly open, lights were on, and found nothing. Nothing. It was completely empty. There's a bathroom across from that room, and there was nothing. Nobody in there either, just empty. All the rooms were like that, weirdly empty with the lights on. But I swear a dark cloud was following us in every room in that house. Not a real cloud, but there was eel in there. Here's the layout.
Okay, I believe we got a layout for the house. The horrible scene was on the living room.
Honestly, the house looked perfectly fine in some ways. Probably how it looked before the attack. And other areas looked like complete war zones. It seems like it could have been some psychotic.
Or personal grudge.
And it's not like we noticed anything obviously missing.
Or could have been a robbery.
I mean, there's still debate amongst the officers about how this whole thing could have happened. You know, the timeline.
What even happened?
The basic logistics. How the killer did all of that to all of them.
Or killers.
We've gone over the preliminary timeline of events based on the coroner's findings and our own. This is subject to change, of course. Basically, we're ruling out robbery now since nothing seems to be missing. Still could have been an attempted, though. Okay, so we think the intruder came into the house in the front. And this could be anywhere between 12 and 4 a.m. since the bodies have been dead for several hours when we arrived this morning. Maybe even later. We think. I mean, we know most of the students were in the back in the living room when the initial attack began. Forensics so far hasn't helped much, which is odd considering they're supposed to be the national experts from Seattle. Maybe not. There was a lot of blood in that room. The window shattered, indicating it was quite physical. There could have been a confrontation in the front room, where we found the broken lamp and a victim or victims that fled to the living room. Maybe someone even walked in on the attack. It's unclear why or if Heather was spared intentionally, but she survived, thank God. It's possible she was left for dead or the attacker was interrupting during the attack and fled. No other witnesses have come forward thus far and have almost completely blanketed the neighborhood and local communities appearing for help.
Here and here. Let's try white seats.
Yeah, there were sheets spread out. White sheets everywhere.
The kind you put on furniture to keep the dust off when you're gone for a while? Is that what it was?
I only know of little old ladies that do that. Alana's parents, the homeowners, are in their 50s though.
They've been contacted, right?
Yeah, we broke the news to them. They were pretty upset. They're coming in town now.
Did you ask about the sheets?
Not yet.
If you're trying to keep the furniture clean, you would only put them on the furniture usually. Is it possible the kids brought them from school or got them here?
I don't know. No idea where they came from. We can probably find it though.
They were burned up a little too. Must have got fire. Maybe it was whatever exploded, the bomb, or the candles. I'm surprised the whole house didn't catch fire. Must have been an eerie sight walking into that.
Red, white, and black. All over. Not much else for color in the room.
Was there an explosion or just fire in a single room or what? I don't know. It's not clear yet. Okay folks, let's wrap up here. Inshallah, see you soon. Bye for now. Assalamualaikum.